So today what we're doing is I'm going to show you a demo video and um, and then I'm going to kind of demonstrate it. And then if you got my email yesterday and you have two spherical objects, then after the video we will kind of try to replicate the activity. And then we're going to do a Nearpod. What email? I sent an email yesterday about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, maybe two, early afternoon.
So we have a quiz on Wednesday.
Yes. So on Wednesday, you're gonna have a formative, which is worth 20% of your grade over moon phases. You don't get stressed about it, okay? We'll do some review tomorrow, and I'll post a review game, and it's everything we've been talking about. And then on Friday, you're going to have a test over moon phases and gravity. And the tests are summative, which is 80% of your grade. And that'll be 100. That'll be 100 points. So that could make or break your grade. All of this stuff is going to go. Okay, all of this stuff is going to go on the second quarter. So nothing regarding moon phases is going to go on the first quarter. Okay, so we're going to start by watching a video that I made.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to demonstrate the moon phases with my phone and my ring light. So right now, my ring light, or we will call the sun, is right behind my camera. We will take the toilet paper as being the moon, and my head will be the earth. So what I want you to do from your perspective, so from where you are, it would be like you are between the sun and the moon. So it'd be like you're standing right here between the sun and the moon. All right. So I want you to keep your eye on the sun the whole time it goes around my head. And I'm not turning, it doesn't matter if I turn this or not, because it's all the same for our purposes. No model is perfect, but this should help a little bit. So I'm going to go here. This would be a new moon. Then we'd have waxing crescent. We'd have the first quarter. We'd have waxing gibbous. And if you remember, the moon orbits the earth or goes around the earth at a tilt. So I'm going to put the moon up here. This would be full moon. Then we'd have waning gibbous, third quarter, waning crescent, and new moon. So, what did you notice about the toilet paper as it went around? Did it reflect the sunlight the whole way around? Yes, it did. So there's always a part of the sun, there's always a part of the moon that is facing the sun. Is it the same part of the moon that's always facing the sun? Yes, it is. So now we're going to do it from my perspective. Okay, so now we are from my perspective, or the earth, and we see our quote-unquote moon and our sun, the ring light. Now, because of how far away things are and the size of the things, this isn't exactly going to be how it is in real life. So right here, we don't see any of the sun illuminating the toilet paper. So this would be the new moon. Now as we move, we can see that we can start to see part of the reflected light on the toilet paper. So this would be like a waxing crescent. There's no shadow hitting it. The shadow of my arm is going back behind me. It's because we're looking at it from this angle. Now, if I continue the revolution or the orbit of the moon, we can now see that the front half is lit and the dark half is not lit. It's not a shadow. We're not in something's shadow. It's just the part that isn't getting light from the sun right now. So now you can see that we can see most of the toilet paper. We can see most of the light that's from the sun. So this would be a waxing gibbous. And then as we get right here, so we have the sun behind me, we have my head, and we have the toilet paper. This would be a full moon. So you can see all of the lit portion of the toilet paper. Now, if it moved into my shadow, which would be the Earth's shadow, this would be a lunar eclipse. But because the moon orbits at an angle, we don't always have an eclipse. So now we're going to make our way back towards the sun. Okay, so here we have the full moon, or full toilet paper. You can see all of the lit portion of the toilet paper. And so we're going to start making our way back towards the sun. Now you can see that we're starting to see the unlit portion of the moon. It's getting darker on the right. There's no shadow being cast. There's nothing blocking it. It's just the part of the moon that right now isn't getting light. So we would have a third quarter. As we continue, we'd have a waning crescent, and then we would come all the way back to a new moon.
So hopefully that helped a little bit with maybe understanding the moon phases better. So if you if you brought two objects that are like a sphere, all right, good job, Andrew, way to go. And if you didn't, that's okay. You could still try to do this at home. So I asked that you bring one sphere that's bigger than the other, both size, both small enough that you could hold them in your hand. All right, so if you notice, I'll try to do this as close as I can. So I have a Tootsie Roll Pop, and then I have a ball pit ball that I stuck a pencil in the bottom. All right, and if you notice on my Tootsie Roll Pop, I have a yellow Post-it that I've put on the front. And this is going to represent the side of the moon that is always facing the sun. So right now, you guys would be the sun. So from this perspective right now, what phase would the Earth see when the moon is between the sun, you, and the Earth, my blue ball? So what phase would this be right now? Think about is the Earth at this point right here, is the Earth seeing any of the Post-it? Let's answer this question. No, the Earth is not seeing any of the post-it. So would the Earth see any of the moon? That's right, Andrew. It's a new moon. Okay. So if you're standing right here and you're looking at the sun and you're looking at the moon, you wouldn't see anything because the post-it isn't facing you. And so as it goes around, as we go around, we're going to see, we'll see eventually that the moon would get behind the earth. So you're the sun, here's the earth, and then the moon would get back here behind the earth. So what phase would this be right here? What phase would this be? Anybody? That's right, it's a full moon, okay? Because look, you can see all of the post-it. All right. Now, does the is the moon always going to pass in Earth's shadow like I just did? Pass in Earth's shadow? No, it's not. That's right, Billy. Good job. It's not always going to pass in Earth's shadow. Does anybody remember why it's not going to pass in Earth's shadow? That's right. The orbit is tilted. So let's see, this is going to be kind of hard to demonstrate. Hold on a second. Let me try this. All right, so let's pretend that the paper plate is the orbit of the moon. All right, and so I just want you to pretend like the moon is going around like this. So the orbit does not stay like this. The moon does not always go up above the earth and down below the earth. This is going to be kind of weird, and I'll try to see if I can get it right. The orbit of the moon actually goes like this. So the orbit of the moon is, yes, the moon is going around, but then at sometimes the moon is up here, sometimes the moon is down here, and then sometimes the moon is down behind the earth and up in front of the earth. Kind of confusing, but the whole point of all of this is for you to know that there are no shadows that cause moon phases. Okay, so what you guys are gonna do, and you should have enough time to get our activity today. You should have enough time to get it done. So there's a couple of videos, but they're both under 60 seconds. And so it's going to be a Nearpod. So this needs to be done before you come to class, but you should be able to get it done before you leave.